Harker heard what sounded like a distant crash somewhere in the raw wing. With luck, Redwin had tripped over something in the dark and knocked himself senseless for the night. Harker flashed his attention to the door behind him. Opportunities like this didn't come along very often, and though it wasn't an opportunity in the realistic sense, he couldn't help but entertain the fantasy. Behind that locked door lay the most beautiful woman in the whole kingdom of Aramundi. Taller than most men, with pure ivory white skin, Queen Tilda was a picture of perfection, with her powerful steel grey eyes and flowing auburn hair, which was usually hidden beneath her headdress and crown, and few men but the king ever got to see. Harker had only seen it once, by sheer stroke of fate the previous summer. The door had opened briefly as Her Majesty's lady-in-waiting had made her exit, and Harker caught the perfect side view of the Queen as she climbed into bed wearing a long, thin nightgown that hung off her slender body. Ever since that night, Harker was enraptured. What he wouldn't give for a single hour of passion with that woman. Of course, none of the other guards shared his enthusiasm for Queen Tilda, calling her lanky and titless. But to Harker, she was perfection incarnate. Besides his admiration, he also felt sorry for the Queen. Her life seemed a total waste, married to the King of Aramundi, who was now over 60. Tilda was nearly 40, but she barely looked a day past 30. A fresh, youthful woman like that was bound to have appetites that a time-buggered little man like King Calvin was clearly unable to satisfy. If Harker had been married to that goddess for 7 years, she would have at least 3 children by now. If only he could talk to her alone. He knew he could help her. He would happily give up his seed and forgo any future claim on the offspring. The pleasure of her bed company was more than enough payment for a man like Harker, and just knowing that his own bastard child would someday sit on the throne of Aramundi filled him with pride. Harker glanced about the empty hall around him. With Redwin away from his post, the only remaining barrier, aside from the locked door, was the Queen's lady-in-waiting, who always sat reading in a chair until Her Majesty fell asleep. Elsa was a short runt of a woman in her early 20s. She had small, piglet eyes and features that all seemed crammed into the middle of her face, an effect that was enhanced by wearing the headdress of a married woman. An old spinster in the making, if Harker ever saw one. But there was no denying her devotion to Queen Tilda. Elsa was a diligent lady-in-waiting who did her work obsessively well. Upon leaving the royal bedchamber, she always locked the door and kept the key on a chain around her neck, like a well-trained bitch. Getting her to part with the key would be near impossible. Another man might have been able to charm a girl like Elsa, whisk her away to some secluded place, ply her with drink, give her the affection of which she was so obviously short, and deprive her of the key whilst she slept. But Harker had no such skills with the ladies. He was tall and strong and handsome, and had always relied on good looks rather than charm. Sadly, height, good looks, and even a perfect uniform seemed to carry no weight with a woman like Elsa. Harker peered back along the passage to make sure Redwin wasn't coming back, before kneeling down and pressing one eye to the keyhole in the door.